Last week I received a letter from a man that wanted me to read this prior to giving the Margaret McCowan Distinguished Service Award. And this man was not able to be here today for reasons beyond our control. I'll read the letter, you'll probably figure out who's talking by the time we get to the end of it. First starts out by saying, Dog Woman, Tammy, Brent, TGCA directors. I sincerely apologize for not being there today, as I am not allowed to attend according to NCAA of compliance, but would like to say some things about my friend, Harley, Dogman Doggett, if I could. To get the true measure of a person, notice how much more they do than is required of them. This quote is a perfect fit for Harley Doggett and for its namesake, Margaret McCowan. Harley served our coaching profession for over 40 plus years, and he did it with a passion that was second to none. He loved coaching because of the strategy, the preparation during practice, the scouting of his opponent, and the excitement of the games. But the main reason he loved coaching was because of the relationship he built with his players and fellow coaches. Harley never saw color, never had a bank account or influential parent make a decision on who he played, never had an excuse if his team lost a game, and he always took the blame and always gave all the credit to the team when they won. Harley served as a mentor to many, many young coaches, with myself being one of his proteges. And while mentioning me, he went from mentor to one of my very best friends. Harley had the ability to pump you up and to thank him you were one of the best coaches in the universe, and then quickly give you a dose of humility when his teams beat you on the court, and they would beat you soundly. Harley loved the Texas Girls Coaches Association and always would fight for the rights of young women so they would have the same advantages and recognition that young men would receive. The ideas that were grown through the TGCA by Billy McCowan and now Sam Tipton were spiritual to Harley, as he wanted young women to be respected and rewarded for their hard work. Harley Doggett is a difference maker, and to this day still has influence over the coaching philosophies of many young and experienced coaches throughout the state. Harley and I spent 20 plus years serving as directors of the TGCA golf tournament. As Harley did the cooking of his famous sausage wraps, and I did the talking. And during those tournaments together, Harley always wanted to make sure that everyone felt important, whether they were a middle school coach or a reigning state champion. For Harley, each person had value, and it doesn't get any better than that. Harley Doggett measures up to any coach that has ever walked the sideline, and he has left this world a better place. Anita, Michael, Tammy, Brent family, love you guys, and I miss you, my friend. Larry Tidwell.
Thank you, Sam. There's really not a whole lot that I could say after that Larry stole everything that I had written down. And I will say that I wrote mine. Larry's was tight. I did it coach's way. I put it on a legal pad. I've seen coach's notes from coaching school, and that's what he'd have his notes on that about basketball or track or whatever it was he was coaching on that. But he was a gruff man, but he had a big, kind heart. Not going anywhere, but I did play for Coach. He coached football, and went to school in Rogers where he coached. Started coaching in 1969, and I was able to play middle school football for him and freshman football. And he was a little gruff, I promise you, but he was a good man. We all liked him and loved him, and that goes to his girls that play for him. He is, at least I know on the bio he sent in, had 14 that went into coaching that played for him. So that's an testament to what he believed in and how he supported his kids and wanted them the best. And what he did say he would, Larry said, he'd talk to you, but then he'd kick your tail. I can promise you that. I'll tell one story or two, I guess, right here on Coach, and then we'll move on and give him his award. He was talking about philosophy and things, and he helped mold some of mine as well. But we would sit down, and we know it today as the short corner. When I learned it from him was a three-toed pig. Now, I know a little bit about animals, and I'm still looking for a three-toed pig out there somewhere. But it was a short corner, and he used it against the 2-3 zone and zone, and his post players and guards, they could just wear you out if you played a zone with that three-toed pig. But he taught me how to run that, and I appreciate that and some other things that he did. I was fortunate enough that when he retired in 2005, that I was asked to apply for that job. Now, when you go into an interview with him, you're thinking, when I applied for the job, I was going to be the head coach at Rogers High School following the legend in Central Texas. Well, we're sitting there at the table, it's him, the athletic director, and the principal. Well, the principal asked principal kind of questions, the athletic director asked athletic type questions. Coach Doggett said, "You'll coach cross country, correct?" "Yes, Coach, I will. I've been coaching in Troy and in Thrall all these years, and I don't mind coaching cross country." He said, "Good, you're coaching cross country." Okay. Next question out of his mouth was, You don't mind coaching 8th grade girls, do you?" "No, I don't mind that." "You don't understand my question. You are going to coach girls athletics, or you're not going to get this job." I said, "I have no problem coaching girls athletics. I promise you, in the 8th grade in basketball, I can do that." So long story short, I ended up getting the job, and during our practices, I'd look up in the corner, standing down in the gym, there he'd be. He'd be making sure he never said anything to me. It was my team at that time, but he was there watching those kids play every time we practiced, and when we played, he would be there for them. The other thing was, when you talk to him, those of you who knew him, when you ask him, "How is your team going to be?" "We're going to be terrible. Not going to be very good at all." Well, he'd come in and ask me that. He'd say, "Loyd," he said, "how are we going to be this year?" I knew the answer he was looking for. "Coach, we're going to be bad. Be bad, be patient with us, but we're going to be okay when it comes time." But Coach was a dear friend and a mentor to me, and I do appreciate all that he did for me. And the girls of Central Texas, the others that were in Central Texas and across the state. It is my pleasure to present the Margaret County Distinguished Service Award to his granddaughter, Kaitlyn Zarosky.
And on behalf of the Doggett and Zarosky families, I would like to thank the Texas Girls Coaches Association and the McCown family for honoring Coach Doggett with the Margaret McCown Distinguished Service Award. As I said, Coach Doggett coached girls basketball for 42 years, with the vast majority of that time being spent in Rogers, Texas, where he also indulged in his favorite hobby, cooking barbecue at Dargett's Barbecue Joint. Throughout his career, Coach Doggett coached every sport except golf and swimming. But by the end of his career, girls basketball and a mean brisket were what he was best known for around Central Texas. Coach Doggett graduated from Texas A&M in 1962 and began coaching around 65. Although he never played basketball, he quickly became a student of the game, and you never know. At the time of his retirement in 2005, Coach Doggett ended his career with an impressive 837 wins and only 356 losses. His team reached the playoffs 24 times, and he led his state semifinal team to a nearly perfect 40-2 record. And that was the team my mom Tammy played on as a senior. And the first year the game of basketball was to be played full court. It is safe to say basketball is a family affair for the Doggetts and the Zaroskys. Behind this rough old coach stood a devoted wife, Annetta, also a former educator, who could be found in the stands of every game. 2 children, Tammy and Mike, who are now successful educators themselves, and a son-in-law, Brent, whom we're all glad picked up the art of cooking barbecue from Coach. And then several grandchildren, including myself, my big brother Marcus, his dedicated wife Hillary, and their baby girl McKenna. Marcus and I each got our time sitting next to Pop on the bench during Rogers Eagles basketball games as his little assistants. We enjoy getting to skip school for tournaments, rebounding for the girls, and occasionally agitating Pop on the sidelines. Somewhere during all that time spent in the gym that is now named after our grandfather, we inherited his love for teaching and his passion for developing athletes, and now have the unique privilege of coaching together at Gregory Portland along with Hillary. Besides learning how to perfect a high-low offense, we learned several valuable lessons from watching our Pop that I believe everyone can benefit from. Speak modestly, act humbly, work tirelessly, serve wholeheartedly, remain loyal, and make your word count for something. We may not leave our careers with Coach Doggett's outstanding records or accolades, but for now, we pay it forward to our own athletes and program as a tribute to all he taught us leading up to the beginning of our own coaching careers. Coach Doggett was a man of few words and was one tough critic. He is best remembered by his former players as yelling vague statements like, "Girl, you couldn't hit the broadside of the barn with the ball," and "You're playing like Ned in the first reader." We're still not sure who Ned was because no one ever had the guts to ask him. And one thing is for certain, you had better turn around quick when he shouted "hey" across the court, because he never used your name. Despite his firm coaching style, there is no doubt Coach Doggett made everyone around him better. He pushed his girls to be the very best versions of themselves on the court and off. Discipline in every aspect was key. He was even known for threatening his girls if he ever caught them in the stands with some old boy. To some, it may have seemed as though Coach Doggett was feared by his players. But speaking as someone who is still scared of disappointing him, I know that it's deep respect for Coach, not fear, that drives our choices. Coach Doggett was tough to play for, but he also went out of his way for his players and anyone else that needed him. He didn't say it often, but his love for his family, his friends, and his players was shown through his actions. Dedication, together, sacrifice, patience, friendship, respect, work ethic, class, heart, ambition, fight, faith, reliability, integrity, honesty, and sincerity. These are a few core values I found jotted down on some of Coach's notes from the 2004 Texas Girls Coaches Association Clinic on nothing other than a legal pad, with the following statement listed underneath. These are the things I want to accomplish. Coaching is more than X's and O's and winning records. I believe it is our job as coaches to live out these values daily as we build up our athletes. I also found it refreshing as I thumbed through his clinic notes that even after a very successful 35-plus career up until that point, Coach was still reflecting on his own career and taking notes. And my hope is that all of you continue to remain students of your crafts despite your tenure and success in your careers. One final quote he had jotted down along with those notes resonated with me. Success is the peace of mind which is a direct result of self-satisfaction, knowing you did your best to become all that you're capable of becoming. I'm grateful to have witnessed and learned from such a success that was Coach Harley Doggett. Thank you again on behalf of my grandpa and my family, and good luck to all of you coaches this year. Thanks again. God bless.